I mean, this is just shows the same arrogance they had with Hillary, running that vicious demonic corpse against Trump in the campaign and all the fake polls. Roger Stone, what say ye?
Well, Alex, you're absolutely right. The level of falsehood in the media today is unlike anything that I have seen. Yesterday's New York Times has a chart, which you can is a breakdown of how 7 Trump associates have been linked to Russia. Reading yours truly, it says the prominent informal advisor to Trump has said he knew in advance about the release of Russian hacked documents by WikiLeaks. I have never said anything whatsoever. I never spoke about hacked documents or hacked emails. It goes on to say that this was perfectly legal communications, I claimed, through communications with Julian Assange. I never said I had a direct communications with Julian Assange. So the Times is now 0 for 3. Lastly, they say I exchanged direct messages with Guccifer 2.0, an online figure linked to Russian intelligence. Well, linked by the deep state, but not linked by anybody who can look at it objectively. The Times does correctly point out at the very bottom of the article that I had contact with him 6 weeks after the hacking of the DNC documents. So part and parcel, I don't know who wrote this, somebody from the Democratic staff of the House Intelligence Committee. I can tell you now what the status of my testifying is. I insist on testifying in public. That they deny me that opportunity. They have offered in return to let me testify in private with a transcript being released, you'll love this part, Alex, at some point in the future. So in other words, you would go testify behind closed doors. They would come out and misrepresent what you said. They would savage you while you sat around with your thumb in your ear waiting for the actual transcript. This is not what I had in mind.
All right, your Skype's breaking up a bit, but it's starting to clear up. So I want you to repeat that this is big breaking news with Roger Stone. They've been saying you're a Russian agent for over a year with no proof. They've been caught lying at every front. Of course, as a journalist, he reached out to WikiLeaks and Guccifer. The media was all reaching out for him. I had CNN calling here, a year ago saying, do you know Guccifer? How do we get in touch with him? I'm like, no. This just goes on and on and on. And you got hit with polonium. They tried to kill you. They tried to run you over because they want a dead man they can pin it all on. You've been begging to publicly testify, and now they say you can testify in secret, and someday we might release a transcript. Just like Comey, who we all said was probably the leaker, releases this fake memo, lets them lie about what's in it for over a month, and then is forced to come out and admit that Trump never ordered him to block the investigation because he knew that would show he perjured himself on the May 3rd congressional testimony. So they are so transparent. They are so obvious. How much danger are we in of them winning?
Well, Alex, I think many Trump supporters were jubilant last week because James I'm
going to put you on hold. When it's this bad, just a default case I'm not here, we'll go to telephone. We'll still have Skype with Stone. So we'll see him, but we'll go to telephone. So that's the default when Skype's that bad. We're doing some training today with a new great crew. So that's a default at that point. When something breaks up for more than 2 minutes, you just go to a phone call. We're doing training today as we expand here. Rumors of our demise have been greatly exaggerated. We've never been better, never been expanding more, thanks to our listeners' prayers and financial support and the great affiliates out there. This is incredible, Dr. Corsi, that they continued. Again, like you said, they're never going to stop the meme. They're going to keep hammering this thing. They've had congressional hearings saying I'm a Russian agent. Hillary said, as you know, 2 weeks ago, I advise the Russians. So she actually said, I'm the super mastermind in her full 5-minute clip. She says, oh, the Russians aren't smart enough to come up with Americana stuff. It's InfoWars. And then they get it from him, and then it comes back to the United States. So I am now, I'm not kidding, the mastermind. What a load of manure.
Well, Alex, I think you've got to look at this from a disinformation propaganda techniques perspective. First of all, the mainstream media right now has, and backed by the intelligence deep state, Trump's on trial. Doesn't know it, but he's being impeached right now. And the accusation is that he's colluded with the Russians, and this is all Russian propaganda. Trump is encouraging, and you're an agent of the Russian propaganda. And if they don't impeach him, if they can't impeach him, remember, nothing that comes out in defense of Trump is ever going to be reported by the mainstream media. Comey's lies, the fact that Mueller is going to go after Flynn. We don't have Loretta Lynch being investigated. Hillary Clinton was given a pass.
And so it doesn't matter that Comey fell on his face pathetically. None of that will be reported. That's why listeners must get the articles at InfoWars that show the clips out to everyone. Roger, you got cut off. Repeat that now that we have better audio. You're saying they now say, okay, you can testify in secret, and maybe someday after we kill you, we might release it.
Not only that, Alex, but they propose to have 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats as opposed to the entire panel. I noticed that Senator Sessions' testimony today is in public, and I think I should therefore be allowed to testify in public. After all, they smeared me in public. They made misstatements about my relationship with WikiLeaks or lack thereof. Let me pick up on the key point here, because I think last week many key Trump supporters were jubilant over the fact that Comey's testimony was so self-damaging, that he revealed himself as a leaker, that he didn't lay a glove on the president in terms of collusion. But mark my words, with Robert Mueller, the fix is in. This guy is a neocon Bush-era errand boy. He was Comey's direct boss at the FBI director prior to Comey, and we now know he met with Comey to coach him on his testimony last week. He has hired this fellow Andrew Weissman, from the Department of Justice, the Bush-era Department of Justice. This guy is the executioner. Make no mistake about it, regardless of the facts, Mueller is part and parcel of the effort to take down Trump. This fight is not over. It's just beginning.
Yeah, folks thought Trump winning the election, all go to sleep. No, they're going to come in with pure authoritarianism now. We're going to fight for our lives, all of us. All right, final segment with these 2 gentlemen. I'll continue with your calls. Our reporters are going to be in studio. I watch footage from all over the country, but I also watch the footage that they shot of people in communist uniforms and Islamic garb beating men, women, and children and reporters over the head with clubs. The state police here in Austin would just stop them from beating. And they've got them with their own clubs attacking the police. We're going to have some of the boil down of those hours of footage here for you. I'll describe it for radio listeners. But here's why this hits so hard before I finish up with Roger Stone and Dr. Corsi. Here's the really bad news. Trump loses travel ban ruling in appeals court. Folks, the law is so clear the president can ban people from countries, period, if he wants. Look at all the other nations that do it. We have 7 countries, total fail states, where the imams issue the passports, places like Somalia and Libya. And the 4th Circuit agreed with the Hawaiian court and the 9th Circuit and said, quote, he violated the Constitution's ban on government establishment of religion, the First Amendment. So the government's running religion in this country. The IRS is controlling it, not supposed to do it on the First Amendment. You have a political religion like Islam, failed states, the president bans it, and they're using the First Amendment that guarantees the right to religion and says you can't have government-established religion to bring in Islam that is a government of the establishment of religion that says Sharia law will overwrite the Constitution and will not accept other religion. It's like bringing cancer in and saying because we're anti-cancer. I mean, the courts, the system, they're all against Trump. He has stopped 43% of the illegals coming in. But you talk about a government in total mutiny against this president. I want to get Roger Stone's take on that, and then we'll let him go. I appreciate him popping in today. Roger Stone, your take on this, any other tidbits?
Well, Alex, you raised a very good point. It was Mr. Mueller who was in charge of removing all of the references to Islamic jihad in terror from the FBI training materials, and he even issued a public apology to CARE for being insensitive.
God.
If this doesn't prove that Mr. Mueller is part of the problem, I don't know what does. We also know that Mr. Mueller, as the FBI director, warned Georgia Congressman Bob Barr stop asking questions about Waco, to back off on the questions of why the government assaulted the compound on Waco. This guy is a neocon errand boy, and the job they assigned him is taking down Donald Trump.
Is he a Wahhabist like Brennan? I mean, why are all our leaders under the control of radical Muslims?
I don't think so. I think I don't know Mr. Mueller's religion, but he's most clearly a establishment darling, appointed by George W. Bush to head the FBI.
Sure, but why did he remove all references to radical Islam from the FBI and not let him go after him at San Bernardino? I mean, he's known as the protector of radical Islam.
Yeah, because that's the politically correct position, and that was the position of the Obama administration. Islam is a religion of love, Alex. Didn't you know that? It's a religion of love and peace. Hey,
I want to get you and Corsi here later in the week. We got to get some stuff done, some contracts done for you to get on board and some planning. But I wanted to get you both here together. There's also some big stuff going on, as you know, with a lot of heavy hitters. So can you guys talk later today about getting you here at the same time to actually not just go on air, but get some stuff done?
Certainly, we can figure that out. Let me leave it at this, which is, Alex, they're going for our king. They're going to try to take out our king.
And then they're coming after us after.
But we know that Barack Obama's administration oversaw the wholesale unconstitutional wiretapping of millions of Americans, perhaps as many as millions. We must go for their king. I don't know what Jeff Sessions is waiting for, but he needs to impanel a grand jury for Ms. Rice, Valerie Jarrett, and yes, the president himself. What did Barack Obama know, and when did he know it?
That's right. Trump has to go on total offense now, or they're going to kill him just like they do in the play, Killing Julius Caesar. They're celebrating it. They're preparing it, and it's going to bring in a violent civil war. We must stop it. Thank you so much, Roger Stone.
Great to be here. Many thanks, Alex.
We only got 1:10 left. Corsi, final comment.
Well, I will be in touch with Roger, and we'll figure out a date to get down to Austin. But here's the issue. You've got to look at this whole thing is that the deep state is planning an assassination. They're desensitizing the public with this assassination play, with the Kathy Griffin beheading. Alex, you've got to be taken out or made to be seem to be a Russian agent. And that's what Megyn Kelly's assignment was. You don't think she came on her own initiative. This is an assignment. This is deep state. This is the entire backing of the inner forces within the government that are opposing Donald Trump. And he better learn to use the power of the presidency now, fire Priebus, get rid of the Obama and Clinton carryovers, and start using the Department of Justice and the FBI to go after
He needs to execute order number 66. All right, thank you so much, Dr. Corsi. We'll have our members of the crew in studio who face the Muslim hordes with the communists as they attack U.S. citizens.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run.